And we are live, guys. I'm Larry. This is Crypto Talk Now. Welcome to the Max and Larry Crypto Talk Show on Crypto Talk Now. I apologize. We were supposed to start today at 4 p.m. Eastern, but we had some technical issues at the home studio here at my home. We're having, I don't even know if it's something with my internet or if it's something with StreamYard. But next week, a friend of mine that is my tech guy is going to take a look at it, and we might possibly switch to a different streaming software. For those of you that are familiar with StreamYard, it works well when it's working, but we're having some sort of connection problem. And we thank everyone for joining us. I am Larry, and this is Max. How are you doing today, Max?
I'm doing good, Larry. I'm glad to join you daily in regards to these live streams on Crypto Talk Now.
Great. Yeah, this is actually Max has his own channel. The links are in the description of this video. If you want to go ahead and subscribe to his channel. Check out the links here. I'm going to just go ahead and share my screen because we had the issue here and I lost my share. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now. And okay, so you can see my screen, Max. One of the things that I wanted to talk to you about last night, well, today we had the launch of Phantom Project, which is the social media one, the brand new token. But also last night, I kept noticing that Phantom, the other Phantom that starts with an F, was down.
Right.
And I went in and bought some more of that. It looks like right now it's at 73 cents, but I bought some more at 80 cents over my crypto.com account.
I'm
So,
familiar with that particular Phantom, and that is a very
yeah.
good project. So, if that dips a little bit more, I might actually, have a position as well.
Yeah, I bought some of it a long time ago and I made some money with it. I heard some great things about Phantom as a blockchain. So I sold off, and then I had a small bag, but I bought it pretty high. I don't even remember if it was like, pushing $2 or something like that. And but I've been noticing that it's just been going down. And last night I was trying to figure out what to buy that was down, and I was like, you know what? That's kind of funny. I'll buy the other Phantom too.
Right.
And so real quickly, I'll check in on the Phantom launch. We've had kind of a topsy-turvy type of launch. This is the 3-minute chart that I have brought up. I am into this pre-sale. I did the AMA yesterday on this channel here, and I noticed something interesting. It looks like what happened was there was probably some airdrop tokens, and there was a sell-off in the beginning, but the chart, it looks pretty good. It looks like it's coming back. We started out with a market cap around 10 million, and we're at 8.9 million right now. The cool thing is that I have been getting some reflections. So looks like there was a good buy that just came in here, 3.55 ETH. There is a 20% tax on sales right now, so I'm not sure why people are selling off, other than maybe those that were possibly airdrop some tokens. But I have a good feeling about this project long term after talking to the developers more yesterday and on camera with the AMA. So I'm hoping that things turn around. People get so impatient. I mean, we literally just launched not that long ago. Just I think it was probably like about an hour ago or so, and so I expect this one to bounce back. Let's see what goes on with it. We've got about 1,220 holders, and I think there was just a little over 1,000 holders when the pre-sale was launched. So it looks like there is some buy pressure right now. So hopefully this thing comes back. I got in the pre-sale right around I think it was 1,500 level. So it is on sale a little bit right now. It's below the pre-sale level. So I think that this thing is going to bounce back. Hopefully so.
Yeah, hopefully so. And, things like that happen, I mean, with pre-sales basically and so on. Speaking of the Phantom project, last night I actually decided to watch the entire recorded AMA
Oh, cool.
with you, Riz, and Matthew. It's Matthew, right?
Yeah. Yep. Matthew.
And I after watching it, I was just like, you know what? That might be something I actually will, get into, because I was actually impressed with what you guys mentioned in that AMA. So for those who haven't seen Larry's AMA from yesterday in regards to Phantom, you might want to take a look at it. It looks like it's a pretty good project. I need, of course, to do a little bit more research but the gist I got out of it was, for instance, they want as the saying goes, kind of changed the game, if you will, with the whole social media thing, from a a small market cap token project that got going on. And I just like how, for instance, like you guys mentioned on the stream, that they're doxed, and on top of that, just a lot of like basic utilities that they really implemented. For instance, like Riz mentioned the whole thing with the staking. If it's not available right upon the pre-sale launch, that they're going to implement it like any day. So
Yeah,
did that actually happen?
We got a pleasant surprise. It's actually the staking on Phantom project is available right now. So they have it on their website. It's actually available right now. They had it on launch, so that was a pleasant surprise.
That is a pleasant surprise to be able to see something that went from a pre-sale to, like this. Well, heck, there's launch events, like so on, like you had basically today.
Wow, look at this.
Other channels.
Not to interrupt you, but we just had big purchase. We had 5 ETH come in, so I think that might have been the biggest purchase on the launch here. So that's kind of cool that we had that come in while we're live.
It's a phantom whale right there, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep. That's a phantom whale. So yeah, the market cap right now is sitting around 9 million. So like I said, we launched around close to 10 million. I think it might have been a hair over 10 million or a hair less than 10 million, but I have faith in this project. I'm hoping that we see this thing in the next few days, get to 15 or 20 million and go from there. I think that some people, get a little scared off in the beginning. And like I said earlier, I think some of it was airdrop tokens, but for the most part, they're trying to keep the chart healthy with the 20% tax, much like what Tera did, Terrarium, right. With their tax. They had a 16% tax, and that chart was really helped out that they had that tax. So that's something that some of these newer tokens are doing. So we temporarily lost Max's connection here, and we're sorry about that. We'll get him back soon. I know we have a good show planned today. We're going to be talking about a few other token projects, cryptos that Max would like to talk about. What we try to do on this channel is we try to talk about a lot of different projects that people may or may not be in. So that's something that we're taking a look at. Overall, this looks like Phantom is recovering, and we're going to have a good launch. Like, this thing hasn't been even around for probably about like an hour and a half. If anyone hasn't seen the AMA that I did on this channel, you guys are welcome to, at some point, take a look at what is going on here and go back and watch the recorded video. I also did a review on Phantom. But here's the right here. I'll pull this up. This is the AMA that I did yesterday with the developers. Unfortunately, we got to sit through this commercial for a couple seconds, but this is the AMA that we did, and there is 2 of the developers. There's Matt, the CEO, and then you have Riz, the COO. And I got a really good feeling talking to these guys, just going through my own AMA here. It was a pleasure to speak with them because they seem like genuinely good guys. So I think that at some point you're going to see this chart start to take off. It looks like right now we're getting some buys in here. There's that 5 ETH purchase. And I just believe in this. I believe in this project long term. So we're just grabbing Max back into the studio here, and apologize, Max, for the connection issues. I feel like it's on my end. We don't have anything else.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you guys. I'm going to tell everybody here for just real quick, and that is we are going to figure out exactly what it is. And what I'm going to do is, because I have an IT background myself, I've been doing it for over 20 years. So this particular camera I have, I was thinking possibly has some issues, or possibly it's something on Larry's end with his connection. But just to verify, I'm going to get another camera, brand new. And if it does the same thing, then of course that's going to tell me that it is a connection issue. It doesn't do the same thing. We're going to get a handle on it. So
we'll figure it out. I'm not an IT guy, and I'm glad that you mentioned that you are. This is our 6th live stream, and you go through the process of elimination. I think that's how you do it. You try to eliminate all the different variables of what things could be. But so yeah, I mean, getting back to Phantom real quick, you guys can check it out, do your own research, go to Phantom Project on Twitter. But they, as far as the social media platform, what gave me some confidence is they're spending about $80,000 or more a month. They've contracted this company Dev.pro, and they're going to be the ones that are going to be building the social media platform. Hopefully we'll see something of that in about 6 to 8 months. Will be like the first version of it. But, these things take time. They did already, launch with staking, which is really cool. And then beyond that, they talked about doing some smart NFTs. So basically NFTs with utilities. So they're going to try to do some things as far as utilities and benefits to holders prior to launch. And I've been just watching my little bag here. I mean, it's a decent sized bag. I threw a little more than $2,000 into it, and I see that, I'm getting some reflections. So that's kind of cool. We're getting 1% reflections. There's a lot of volume going on right now. You can see the volume on the day is, close to 900,000. So there's a lot of trading going on. Liquidity is very healthy at 2.2 million. And the market cap is about 9.1 million. So it's looking, pretty good. I think, like I said, there was a sell-off from the airdrop tokens, and I think that it's going to recover nicely. That's just my opinion. Do your own research, guys.
Yeah, while you're on the subject of Phantom, if you don't mind me, I'm actually going to ask you a couple questions in regards to it. So, I'm not talking about exchanges, but as far as listings, do they actually have, like, say, for instance, just basic listings like CoinGecko? Are they on CMC yet, or?
I don't believe they're on that, but they've got the applications running in the background to get on those. And as far as like a centralized exchange listing, they did talk about yesterday in the AMA and a couple other AMAs. They mentioned that they have been working on probably some mid-level centralized exchanges, like the L banks, the Bitmarks, those type of ones. I think they're going to come out with something like that pretty soon.
Okay.
Obviously the big ones are further off, like crypto.com and stuff like that.
Well, that's to be expected.
Yeah.
I mean, knowing that, I know with crypto.com, you have to have a certain amount of volume. That's part of the criteria. And knowing that they have a fee, I think it's like $1.5 billion or something like that.
Just a listing fee. Yeah, I think it is like $1.5 million because I said
$1.5 billion. I meant $1.5 million. They're obviously not that.
Yeah, like $1.5 million. I think I remember Cliff from Shibnobi talking about it.
Right.
Yeah, while we're on the subject of Shibnobi real fast, Shibnobi's been there's been some craziness surrounding the project. I'm a holder, and I think you're a holder as well.
Yeah.
There was some craziness going on with Shift Token and also Medi Token. I think they got Dojo Swap. Something happened. Maybe they got hacked, and the liquidity is gone. But I did see that Cliff or somebody from Shibnobi had posted that they are going to go ahead and make good on all that. So that was good to see. Let me just pull up Shibnobi real quick so we can give people a quick service announcement and let everybody know that everything's going to be okay from the Shibnobi team. And it says right here, well, this is the thing about Bitmark, but I thought that they had something here. Oh, yeah. Right here on the Shibnobi Twitter page, a hacker found an exploit in one of the Dojo Swap's contracts and was able to steal some ETH and BNB from some of the listed projects. We have taken down the site temporarily to correct the issue. And we've already identified how they executed their exploit, and we are correcting it. I have decided to wait to release the fix as part of Dojo Swap version 2, since we are so close to releasing it anyway, should be within in a week. The affected projects will not lose anything as Shibnobi is covering any losses. We stand behind our products and partners, so all will be restored when we roll out version 2. So that's really good. That instills confidence in the community, not only in the community for Shibnobi, but Medi Token was affected and also Shift Token. I'm not in Medi Token or Shift Token. I actually was taking a look at those at some point, getting in possibly. Are you in either of those projects? I know you're in Shibnobi, right, Max?
Yeah, the only one that I'm in as far as Dojo Swap or Shibnobi related is the native project, which is Shibnobi.
Right.
I'm not into any of those other projects. However, I mean, I promoted Floki Musk on my channel. I've done maybe 2 or 3 videos in regards to them. It was just kind of like one where it still was kind of like on the fence about officially getting into it. I may still get into it at some point, but that was the only other one. I know they do have a decent amount of onboarded projects to Dojo Swap. I do like the idea that Cliff and the team has gone ahead and addressed this, in a timely manner. I mean, right there you saw this 16 hours ago.
Yep.
That was posted. So, I mean, they're fully aware of it. They're right on it. And if anything, even if you didn't read all of this, the thing that really stood out was where it says the affected projects will not lose anything as Shibnobi is covering any losses. So if you're worrying about insurance, right? Like, does this particular exchange or whatever, right? In this case, Dozier Swap, have insurance? Well, there's your answer right there. So
Right. Yeah, that's good to see because, when people lose their tokens, people get nervous and stuff like that. But it's good to see. I wouldn't expect anything less from Shibnobi. I would expect them to be like this, come out front and center and address things and not try to hide behind anything. So, it happens. That's a real issue with crypto in general, and it happens to the biggest and the best. Crypto.com got hacked a few months back. I remember that going on, and Bitmark had a big hack. So it's not just the small cap tokens, community tokens like Shibnobi that are that can fall victim to something like this. It's the big boys too that get hacked as well. So
yeah,
did you want to talk? Did you want to start talking about one of the ones like? Did you want to start with Teddy Doge, or which one do you want to start with first?
Well, not to go back and forth, I did want to make one last comment actually about Phantom from, just sure. I'm actually really impressed with that project. I can't.
Okay. Cool.
You may think like, wow, that's great, but I did, watch that entire AMA and so on, and I like the idea that Matthew, the CEO from the Phantom project, like some of his background, like when he mentioned that basically, he has a union representative background and so on, and it's like, wow, that's really cool because if you think about it, he'll be applying that experience and those skills of communication, right, the transparency, and that should reflect well on the Phantom project, just based on skills from like what he had previously in regards to that. For instance, like my dad, I mean, he's a retired auto machinist union person with Freightliner Trucking Corporation, and I from the time I was a kid, to see the transparency of union reps and so on. Whether you're for pro union or not, that's not the point. But the point is to actually see somebody from that background getting into it. Right, this is still new, and it's like that really stood out for me. I was really impressed with what he mentioned in regards to that, because at the end of the day, you want to be able to bring some of your ideas, or I guess you could say in some cases constructive criticism, right, of a project, and not feel like it's going to fall on deaf ears. This guy has a union rep background.
Yep.
That was really, really cool. I just wanted to throw that out. So,
well, the two things, talking real quick about Riz and Matt, we could start with Matt. So the one thing that stood out with Matt, he just seems like a really nice guy. Both of these guys, talked to me. We talked offline, and, they're very private people. So they're not used to being on camera. So this is all new to them. This was only their third AMA. And I just told them, you guys are doing great. You come across as genuine people, honest people, authentic. And the one thing about Matt that I liked was when you talk about the union background, he talked about having to deal with contracts and stuff like that. And I was like, oh, I feel like that could help when you're negotiating to get listed on some of these exchanges and, just contracts in general. I'm sure they had to do a contract with dev.pro. Riz has he's got a management background in terms of project management. So I thought that was perfect for like a COO, because that's somebody that needs to stay very organized and keep things moving along. And I thought, with his project management background, he's a super nice guy too. We talked a lot off camera after the AMA, and I thanked them and everything and welcomed them to come back on our platform here. And they're just super nice guys. And I just, there was some FUD surrounding this project, and it was mainly because they weren't doxing right away. They had KYC'd right away. They didn't dox right away, and then they have a Certec audit pending. They've already been through 2 other audits, so they've been responsive to the community that has been asking questions and wanting them to dox and wanting them, to get audited and everything checked out. So, it's really cool to see that they are responding to the concerns of the community.
Yeah. I remember hearing that quote from Riz in the AMA. He's like, they even recognized that it was a half, half, I'm not gonna say it, but a dox.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, you want to be able to see people who recognize, we made a mistake, or we didn't do this like, up to perfection, and we realized we didn't. Because it just shows, at the end of the day, like you mentioned, we're all human, and even though they're got to be held accountable and so on, still at the end of the day, just to see them recognize that and address it was pretty cool, especially in an AMA.
Yeah, they were promoting it on some YouTube channels, and then they were like, "Oh, we want to hear from the developer," because there was, actually Kings from Kings Broadcast was on doing an AMA, and he was the guy that was marketing it and was contracted. He's a YouTuber, and he was a big investor in Saitama. Did very well financially with Saitama, made seven figures actually. And the pushback from people watching the AMA was, "Hey, we want to hear from the CEO, the developer, the main dev." So Matt came on, I think it was that night or the next night actually, and did like a pre-recorded 2 or 3 minute video, and you could tell that he was reading it like from a script, because I think he was just uncomfortable being on camera at first, and they were criticizing him because he was reading a script, and it was only like 2 or 3 minutes. And then it was more like a statement. And then also they criticized him because he didn't say his last name. He said, "Hey, I'm Matt, the main dev." And then, but now he's like come out with his full name. I think it's like Matthew, and I might not be pronouncing it right, like Karen or something like that. And
Right.
I forget Riz's last name too. But these guys, they have disclosed who they are with their full names and everything since then. So there's really not much to criticize these guys on. Some people are saying, they don't have a lot of experience in crypto, but they have, real world experience outside of crypto, and they've pledged to assemble a good, strong team around them of people that have been involved with crypto. And you can see from their website and from talking to them that they're starting to assemble a strong team.
Yeah.
Yep. So.
Well, cool.
Yeah. So where do you want to go from here? What do you want to talk about next?
Well, we can transition from here to one of these other projects. Give me a chance. I'm going to check the live stream. So I saw a few people just connected. Just want to thank you guys for joining us live on Crypto Talk Now, Max and Larry, for today. And we do appreciate you guys, of course, join us. We're going to be covering a few various projects. So stay tuned, and thanks for joining us.
It won't let me correct my message. I just typed a comment in the chat, and I spelled the word everyone wrong. I was just trying to hurry up and watch you and type at the same time. And now I don't know how to change it. So everybody can make fun of me for spelling the word everyone wrong. It was a typo, but welcome everyone. Anyone that's joined us. We've got Crypto Bubbles up on the stream. So you see ApeCoin's just going ape again. It pulled back yesterday, went around, I don't know, last I saw it like $20. It was up as high as around 26 the other day and a couple of days ago. Now it's starting to pump again. I mean, ApeCoin is just turning into possibly the next maybe NFT / meme coin juggernaut. Like they haven't even come out with much yet. I mean, obviously they have the great, one of the best NFT collections in the space, but as far as the token, not a lot of utility just yet, but there's a ton of potential with this team behind it. So we'll have to keep an eye on that one.
Yeah, that's right. Another one that stood out as far as being in the red. Oh, excuse me.
Oh, you're totally fine. There is a lot of red here, that just means that there's a lot of things that are on sale. But,
yeah, there's a lot of red in general.
Yeah, ApeCoin just jumps out because it's one of the few that's in the positive direction right now, at least for today.
The one that's kind of shocked me lately is actually HNT. I cover HNT on my channel quite often, which is Helium. It's a utility project. If you haven't looked into it, it's actually a really, really cool project. I won't get into the whole nitty gritty on that, but
is that in the top one? Is that in the top 100, Max?
I think it's even in the top 50, if I'm not mistaken.
What's the ticker symbol? HMT.
HNT. N with as in Nancy.
Oh, HNT. Okay,
yeah,
let me see if
Helium.
I can. Oh, and Helium.
Yeah, this is a project that you remember I always talk about Charlie Shrem and Luke Lango of Investor Network.
Yeah.
Investor Place. I mean, they cover HNT all the time. Actually, I have a friend who's a pilot, and he does IT work for various companies. Like, believe it or not, this big contract is actually with Wendy's, if you can believe that. And so he has to go up on cell phone towers and all that all the time, and so he has access to be able to, I guess you could say, put up like an outdoor version of a helium. Some people call it helium miner. In reality, it's a hotspot. So,
Right.
On my channel, I need to cover this one video in which this guy from Portugal had this really unique rig. That's what I'm gonna call it, a rig, hooked up for the outside exposure elements. So basically, like what you see there, but like instead of having it inside, most people have it inside, and then of course it beams through a window and so on. But the ones that really do well as far as their earnings are the ones that have like a huge antenna hooked up to it, have it to the outside elements, and then of course have it well protected so like weather doesn't mess it up and so on. But for instance, the cool thing about this is, it's like, for instance, you choose to mine, or not necessarily just mine, but like let's say you want to become an official hotspot, because what's going to happen is people are going to drive by, they're going to scrape data. That's the whole point of this, right? So it's like, a person, when they're connected to their house, right, they're connected to the Wi-Fi for their data plan. Most people should be doing that anyway. And then, for instance, you drive away, you might be in a certain area, but at some point, your data plan could end up disconnecting for like a second or two or whatever.
Right.
Well, if you happen to be on the helium, one of these hotspots, and somebody drives by and uses your data, and it's not much data, it's like fractions, like you wouldn't even hardly notice it. As far as gamers' perspective, it doesn't even affect gameplay or anything like that. But anyway, you're rewarded for it. And then you could go on there, for instance, they have this thing called Helium Explorer, and it shows all the other, like, helium nodes, or what you want to call it, all around the world. And there's a lot of people doing this, like worldwide. But basically, was the last, I want to say November, early December, I was able to see if there was a few neighbors of mine, like literally a couple streets down, and one of them, I think they're up to like $480 for the month for the 30-day chart. Just do how one of these helium, as they would call it, helium some people call them hamburgers,
right?
These little hotspots. So it's just a really cool thing that I've been covering for a while, and I'm actually personally invested into it. Not a whole lot, but I have a little position. Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Max, but let me just ask you a couple questions.
Sure.
And I won't hold you on the spot here. But so just so I'm understanding it properly, this is a device that I can buy, and we're going to be able to mine with this, right? That's what it is. That's the main thing.
So you can either choose to mine, or you can like you can do some of the staking, but like I guess you could say that for the most part it's a form of mining. So you earn HNT, right?
Right.
With more people like hitting your signal, and how that basically works is you can just hook this up to your basic was it your cable modem, or your current router and so on, and it's just a small device that goes along with that, and you can have it where it literally shoots a signal out through the window. People don't make as much as in the earnings in regards to that, but people who, for instance, like who done the outdoor thing and get a big antenna and stuff like that, they really reap the rewards. Because for one, I don't know if it shows the Explorer, but maybe you can go to the top. Hold on.
So what's the buy-in for something like this? Like, what would the device cost? Do you know? Like, how much is the hardware itself?
Well, on that, for instance, you can get various people sell them on eBay. It really ranges on what you want to do in regards to that. Like as you can see right there's a few different ones. Oh man, last I checked, I mean this is a few months back, but it could be anywhere from like I don't know, I want to say like 450, maybe up to like 2,000. Right. It's an investment in regards to that, but the cool thing is the saying goes, you can create like a passive income with it, because what's going to happen is you're going to get rewarded in HNT's native coin, right? And for instance, back in I think it was late December, I myself saw all-time highs. What you see right now at the price, because it's down, I think it's like 16 something or 17 something. For me personally, I saw 13. So I actually saw, if you actually click on all, I saw it go up to like 50 something. I probably should have cashed out then, but I was thinking it was going to keep going up. Um,
Right.
yeah. So right there, like right now, I only hold a small position. I only hold a 5 HMT. But basically, it was like what was it? I put like 100 in. So I could have. Was it like I don't know. I mean, my balance at the time was like 250, maybe 300 or something like that.
What
So
kind what
I could
kind
have
of
3x
income
on it.
what kind of income I know you probably didn't get the device, but have you heard roughly if I have one of these devices, is there like an income range? Is it something where I can make like $20, $50, $100 or more a month?
It's
Like, you know,
sky. No. That sky's the limit on that.
okay.
In fact, if you're interested in regards to that, on my particular channel, I covered helium. I don't know if I have the interview with Luke Elango. I might have to pull it up or something, or just do another video. But he talks about there's this particular person that is in San Diego where he's from. This guy owns 20 different coffee shops, like right around the beach area and so on.
Right.
Hold on a second. I have an issue. So this guy owns 20 different coffee shops, and he has these hotspot miners, or whatever you want to call it, for helium, all around the San Diego, um, that area, not just Oceanside and so on, but just literally all around the area. So think about it, all these people going in to get coffee and stuff. If you have access to areas like that, like these high traffic areas, right? Think
Right.
about people are walking with their cell phone, they got their laptop, whatever, right? Tablets. There's connection to the cloud, as they would say, or the data plane is going to drop at some point. So that guy's literally getting all these people scraping that data. The claim from Luke Lango, and I guess this has been verified, is when you went on the Explorer, because if you go on their Explorer, the nice thing, because blockchain technology, you are able to verify the earnings from the San Diego area, just like I was able to verify the earnings of my local neighbors in the Phoenix area. So my local neighbors, like, the highest I ever saw was like 480 for the month. For him, he was stating it was about a little over 200,000 at one point that guy
Wow.
made. Now you got to keep in mind he had over like 20 of these things, but still,
Different locations, yeah.
Yeah, it's literally sky's the limit as far as that goes. Now, of course, as the coin reaches all-time highs, it's reflected upon that. So imagine the earnings right now, since this is down. It's like anything; it's going to reflect that. But if you guys aren't aware of HNT, I wasn't going to make a video. I mean, mention this, or go in depth on this, but it's pretty cool that we are. But yeah, HNT it's an awesome project. If you're a person with a mining background, like let's say you're already doing it for like, you got your GPUs and so on. There's a lot of other channels or videos that have been made on how to go about this and so on. But even if you didn't want to do that, let's like you just believe in the project and you just want to invest in the coin like I did and not be an HNT hotspot miner or whatever you want to call it, you can do that too. So
That's interesting. Yeah, I have heard of helium. I didn't really know much about what they were all about at all. And so listening to you talk about it, again, this is another one. It seems like when we talk about 3 or 4 different tokens, there's always at least one that I feel strongly about. And even the other 2 that you talk about are ones that I like to look at too. But this one is definitely one that, I like the idea of earning some income. So I'm going to look into possibly this device. I'm not in a high traffic area. That would be the only negative, probably just.
you don't necessarily have to be, and then the thing is, let me see on my end. I'm gonna see if I could pull up. I mean, you should be able to see it there too, but I'm gonna see if I could pull up Helium's Explorer because you know what? It's really interesting when you get to zoom out and see all the different, like as they would say, nodes or whatever,
Right.
in regards to that. I'm just gonna see what I can pull up real quick while you're pulling up whatever you're pulling up. So, for instance, okay, here it is. Sorry, I know where it's at. I can navigate, or I'll tell you where to go. So, if you go to their CMC listing,
Right.
I think you were just there earlier. Actually, I just give you the exact URL. So, the exact URL on Helium.
You want to post it in the chat?
Or you just go to explorer.helium.com. If you remember that.
Explorer. So is it www?
Or actually, I'll just give you. Okay, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll just put in the chat for you. You want it on the live stream chat? Or?
Yeah, you can just put it in the live stream. That's fine.
And again, welcome those who just recently joined us. We're actually covering helium at the moment. So you just take a look at it right there, explore.helium.com.
That's funny because I'm not seeing it in the chat. I wonder if my chats are not.
Or I could put it in the chat for the StreamYard. There it is.
Oh, I see the private one. Okay. All right. Let me grab it here.
Either one.
Yeah, I got to cut and I'm going to grab it. I got it. Okay. Let me just paste it in here. So let's take a look at this. Okay. So here's the Explorer. And I think that Max's connection got rugged again.
No, I said I had to reset the camera real quick.
Okay.
So look at this. I mean, so for instance, you guys who just joined us, so there's 775,196 of these hotspots, right? And as you can see, it's really rich in, wow, so like blanketed in some areas of Europe. Like I imagine, what is that? Like Germany, Denmark, right? In that area. Belgium is really, that area is just like blanketed. Of course, the United Kingdom is really rich in there. And it's fairly rich in, the United States. If you look at, looks like New York and, most of New England is just covered. Florida's got it, really, really heavy and so on. Obviously, Southern California, pretty much most of California and so on. But the point is, I mean, even in South America and so on, I mean, if you zoom out a little further, this thing is pretty much global for the most part. And then here's the thing. You could actually zoom in. I'm sorry, Larry, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, it looks to be, if I'm reading this properly, there's 775,196 of these devices all over the place. These little hotspot devices, basically. Is that what I'm looking at?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. So for instance, you know what? I use that San Diego example. Let's take out a look at San Diego. So just go to like the southwest corner of California, for instance.
I don't know if it's, I don't know. You can
zoom in. No, it'll let you. Just keep zooming in. It's like we're, kind of like Google Earth in a way, but
it's almost like Google Maps. Yeah.
Yeah, and then just move it down just a little bit so you don't overpass it. Keep going.
Yeah, I'm having a little trouble with my mouse, but that's another thing I got to get is a new mouse.
And then just like, let's go by the ocean side, like I was mentioning earlier. That's right next to San Diego. There it is.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
I have some family lives in the ocean side.
Am I up a little bit too high?
Yeah, it's just, if you go to the bottom right a little bit, there you go. It says ocean side right there.
Yeah,
so that's a really rich area, and it's going to have a certain amount of numbers listed here. So that, of course, this represents a grid. So for instance, that one says 10. That means in that particular area, there's at least, of course, 10 of these hotspots. So actually, just go ahead and click on that real quick. And then it's going to give you a thing on the left side of your screen, and it's going to show you, it's kind of like, for instance, this, guys, we name our networks whatever, right? Like our router might be, on the Wi-Fi, it's got a name network. So these are all the name networks for that number 10 grid. And like you see this guy right here, plain mercurial ladybug, for instance. So right there, see what it says, plus 996 HNT for the 30-day chart.
Yep.
So actually, let's click on that. And then once that loads, Larry, let's have you click on the 30-day chart if it allows you to do that. Let me see. Can you scroll down a little bit on that? Does it let you do that?
Yeah, I think so. This is 7-day average.
Yeah, we don't want the 7-day. Let's try to get the 30-day on the statistics.
Okay.
Oh, there it is. See where's the 24H? Go to there's 4 tabs. Instead of 24H, click on the 30D. Right there.
Okay.
Click on the 30D. And then let's see. So that person's earnings was $131 the last 30. I mean, so that's not bad. I mean, you think about it.
Yeah.
That person might not even have an outdoor, big rig antenna, if you will, or whatnot, right? Passive income is what I'm talking about.
That's
so that
good.
guy that has those coffee shops, and he's getting all that traffic, even though there might be obviously there's other helium hotspots. I mean, in a way, I guess you could say he's kind of like in competition with those other ones scraping it. But at the end of the day, from what I've noticed, for people who have access to be able to have those like in strip malls and coffee shop areas. Are you kidding me? Think about that.
Yeah.
All those people are obviously going to be connecting to the cloud because they're not going to be connected to their own Wi-Fi. And even if they get on the Wi-Fi of the local coffee shop, I wonder how he's going to work that. Because if it was me personally, I gotta admit, I might be like, you know what? Sorry, there's no Wi-Fi here. I'm just going to scrape it from my
you have to
helium
connect
things,
to
right?
the helium. Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be kind of funny to hear the story behind that, but yeah, it's just check out helium, guys. I mean, not financial advice or anything, but really good passive income. I mean, I eventually need to get myself one of these, they call them like hamburgers or whatever. I don't know why they call them that, but
one of these devices and test it out, right?
Yeah, it's
Cool.
It's a cool concept, as you can see. And look at that,
So
they're
you said,
all over the place.
Is there a way to get it directly through Helium, or is it just like through eBay and things like that, Amazon?
Yeah, from what I've seen, that's the way you have to go about it. Like, you can even get it off of maybe Amazon. From what I know, it's just eBay, Amazon. There's some sites that like devote to it. Just specifically that.
Right.
There's other channels that just like YouTube channels just cover this topic only. There is one guy that stands out. I forgot his name. But yeah, I mean, look at it. It's just all over the place.
Oh, so. I just clicked the wrong button by accident. Sorry.
No, that's all right. Maybe we should move on to that anyway. I don't know. But, let's see if anybody's engaging in regards to this. No, not yet. That's all right.
Well, we had some people in there. We had 5 or 6 people watching it when you were talking about it earlier.
Okay.
So that's good. So do you want to move on and tell me about Teddy Doge? I haven't, I don't know anything about Teddy Doge. So what's going on with that?
Well, as you know, I was actually on the fence about mentioning Teddy Doge because one thing that was brought to my attention, Larry, was that their liquidity that was locked up was, something that they need to lock up again because it was coming up on that expiration date.
Oh.
You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, well, I don't want us to cover it yet until I verify that it has been re-locked up. And the good news is I did see that it has been re-locked up again. So hence why we're here. So anyway, yes, everybody, take a look at Teddy Doge, for instance. If you actually just go back to the main site. Just for a second.
All right, let's do that.
You're just at it.
Teddy Doge .finance.
Yeah.
Oh, my internet's a little slow. It's loading here. I had it up and I closed out of it. I just went off of the Twitter site. So you think that this might be a good one to take a look at, Teddy Doge?
Well, what I like about it is, you're looking at like some of the small market cap tokens, a strong community presence, right? It is kind of like a meme / community driven project. But the cool thing about the Teddy Doge is, any chance you're familiar with Half Pizza?
No, I'm not. Nope.
That's okay. So this is kind of like built from the developers of Half Pizza. Half Pizza, they run a pretty nice NFT marketplace that has basically like really cool transparency, very user friendly. The most basic person that may have never like minted an NFT or whatever can go to their marketplace and create that. But anyway, what I'm saying is the developers from that project decided to do more of a meme / community driven project. So they decided to do Teddy Doge. And like you see right here, it says, it's a multifunctional swap that integrates transaction exchange, farming, and wallet and chart. And then if you go down a little bit, it says, for instance, what exactly is Teddy Doge all about? Like I mentioned before, some of those things in regards to the farming and so on. But like for instance, it's not just about that. They got so much going on, not just with the NFTs and so on, but like what says right here, for instance, it says like the swap. There's the farming. It says 15 mainstream chain transactions, 15 mainstream cross chains. So it's not just focused just like on ETH or BCS. And then it says that also the token and liquidity multi-scheme locking, Teddy and derivatives. It has a breakdown, of course, on their tokenomics, which is pretty nice in regards to all that. But at the end of the day, it's just, for instance, like if you take a look at the cross-chain bridge, for them, as new as they are, to already have some of these cross-chain bridges, being a meme/community driven project, is pretty impressive, actually. So if you go up to the, we'll take a look at Teddy Swap in a bit, and we'll get to the Teddy NFT in a bit as well. But if you go to the cross-chain bridge, the fourth tab over from the top right, Larry.
Okay. It's loading up here.
Yeah. So, I mean, for instance, you could connect like, MetaMask to this and so on. But I mean, it's nice to see that's just not like, your average, ERC20 token, and it's just new and just like, real basic, if you will. Upon launch, they have this cross chain already developed. If you look at other token projects, this is something that's like on their roadmap, if you will. They already established this. And then also, if you just go back one more, back to that main site.
All right, it's loading up here.
Yeah, that's okay. For instance, they already have like Teddy Swap, kind of like there's Shibnobi, Dojo Swap, and some of the other ones and so on. But what also, for instance, since they're connected with Half Pizza, and of course, Half Pizza is all about their NFT marketplace. If you click on Teddy NFT,
all right, it's loading up here.
And then, for instance, it says one world, only one. Welcome to the free Toady Doge world. Connect Toady digital artworks. Of course, right here, you're going to have to translate it from, this part is still kind of new. So I had to, of course, translate it from, I think it was like Mandarin to whatever. But it's not always like this. This is one part of their site that they're going to have to like work out as far as that goes. But the cool thing is you will see, similar to their native site, which is Half Pizza, it's just a really cool place in which you can bring your NFTs, whether you have some of these ones like Bored Apes Yacht Club or whatever. You can literally take a physical NFT. It doesn't have to be digitalized. You could take a physical piece of art and then digitalize it on their platform. Super easy. I know this is all listed in China. Usually, they had, last I checked, there must be updating the site, but usually at the top, like they'll have a thing that says like English or like Mandarin or whatever.
Yeah, I think it thinks that I can speak Mandarin and I can't.
Yeah, no, it's all right.
Yep.
Before we have you check out the other things on their site, since obviously they're updating it, if you go to their Twitter. So you actually go to their Twitter for a second.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. Let's go to their Twitter. Yep, we've got it.
So, I mean, currently speaking, there's about a decent following, about 76,000. And they do update it quite often. So if you go down just a little bit, it gives you a few of the latest updates. Like this one was 12 hours ago. It states that 498 million Teddy was unlocked on April 30th. Kind of like what I was basically mentioning as far as like their lock liquidity and so on.
Right.
Again, you guys could check out a little bit more about the project if this is something that might interest you. But what stood out for me personally, if you're wondering like, well, what stands out about it, is just the ease of access and then also being connected to the Half Pizza team. We could show you guys a little bit more about Half Pizza, but Half Pizza honestly it's just, for instance, Half Pizza is on Bitmart. It's on a few other exchanges, but it's just that if you're an artist, for instance, Half Pizza's platform makes it super simple for you could just go on there and just, boom, 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 get things minted, even if you're a complete beginner. And then for them to have developed their own meme style token, if you will, with Teddy Doge is really cool. As far as price action goes, which Larry can bring up here in a second on the CMC listing.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I'm going to go into, because I lost that screen. Let me click my coin market cap button.
Yeah, just type in Teddy.
Yeah, let me pull up Teddy Doge.
So
so this is this is we've got 7 people in here, so welcome to anyone that joined the stream. We're talking about a bunch of different crypto projects. Right now, we're finishing up talking about Teddy Doge. Real quick, while people are here, let me just check the Phantom chart just because I'm curious. All right, so now we're back up to 9.4 million as a market cap. So just a quick thing update, just because I got into that pre-sale. Back to Teddy Doge. So Teddy Doge is doing good today, Max. We're up 18%. Is this something that you're invested in or taking a look at investing in?
This is something I'm going to be getting in. It might not be like today or anything like that. I don't want to get into it while it's like, having a slight pump.
Well, the market cap, I agree. Wait for a pullback. The market cap is nice and low, 1.5 million, right?
Yeah, like I mentioned, I mean, it is kind of like that meme token style focus, but what I like about it is it's not just like, any other Inu or any other meme token. They do have a pretty decent sized community, as you can see, like 70,000+ on Twitter, and et cetera, et cetera. It is not ERC20. This is part of the Binance Smart Chain. I realize that some people might have certain prejudices, right? Let's face it, in regards to things listed on the Binance Smart Chain, even though it's like not as far as it being cheaper. I mean, we all know that because it's, it is going to be cheaper simply because it's on that instead of being an ERC20 token. But again, they have a pretty decent sized community. As you can see here, they're doing a decent amount of volume. I mean, for as small as this is, look at that volume.
That's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, for as small as the market cap is on this, that's tremendous. And that tells me, that tells me again, supply and demand. They do have the supply. I mean, obviously the circular, self-reported, but the self-reported circulating supply is 1.8 billion Teddy. Again, 6.8 million in volume. It is up about 17% and so on. About, was that unconfirmed market cap, but we can verify that, of course, on Dex Tools. But even listed there is 1.5 million. We don't necessarily have to go to Dex Tools. We don't have to go to Dex Tools.
Oh, okay, yeah, I was thinking about it.
Well, but what I was going to state also, as far as the holders, if you take a look at that real quick, there's a decent amount. It says total actually listed there, but it's actually more than that. I think they need to update that. You might have to. That's one that we'll probably have to verify on, Dex Tools and so on. But I don't know. It just, there's a few things that stood out to it, and then of course on top of that for me was the token sniffer thing. So for instance, if you go, you don't have to do this right now, but if you go to the token sniffer for it, I don't know if you still have that.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. I'll go into token sniffer.
You're just gonna copy that address.
Yep. Oh shoot! Look at that. I lost the. Where's Teddy Doge? I think I lost Teddy Doge as far as the coin market cap of it. I don't know why my browser's a little bit ahead of me here. Let me just type in Teddy Doge again, and I'll grab that contract address.
No worries.
Yep.
But yeah, for those who just recently joined, I mean, for instance, if you are already familiar, hi Oz, welcome to our stream. We appreciate you coming back.
All right, let's look at Teddy Doge. Yeah, welcome, Oz. There, let's pull you up there. How are you guys doing? Is that the Wizard of Oz or just Oz? All right, so here we go. Wow, it's got 100 of 100 on Token Sniffer. That's good.
Yeah, it's got perfect score. So, for instance, I mean, if you scroll down, like for instance, it says the buy fee is 0, the sell fee is 0. In reality, it's not quite 0. It's like maybe like a fraction below 1% or something. But what I verified is if you go all the way down to the liquidity analysis, they just re-locked this up. If you go down a little bit more, like almost all the way. So as you can see, the previous one just expired like a few days ago. So what the cool thing is this, right? The transparency of the dev team. They already went ahead and re-locked this up in Unicrypt. What you see right there, April 30th of 2023. So it's locked up at least until, like a full year. And there's another 42% locked up. What does it say? 548 days.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to see this. They're already on top of it. They don't have to have somebody message them, that's a user from, Token Sniffer and so on.
That's a good. I'm seeing some good signs here. So it's
Yeah.
good that they relock the liquidity. The other thing that stands out is in this time of all these taxes, they have, like you said, just a fraction of a tax, hardly anything. So with that, and also it being mainly on a B&B, on the B&B side, with there being not very much as far as taxes and gas fees, that's probably why you're seeing $6.8 million in volume today. So there's a lot of volume going on because they've relocked their liquidity. People are confident, possibly. And then also, there's not a lot of gas fees and there's not a high tax. So this could be something that people are doing a little bit of swing trading with.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. I mean, again, not everything we want to get into has to be, a long term play, right? We do want to have a few things that can be short term. Um, Again, what pops out is what some of those fees you're mentioning not being taxed like crazy on it. If you did want to do the whole day trading thing on it, this might be something you want to look into. Again, none of this is financial advice or anything like that, but at the same time, we do try to put you guys on the plays that we're in. This might particularly be a play that I'm going to get in soon, just because I like the idea that it's got a small market cap and there is plenty of room for it to, significantly grow. It's sitting at about 0.308507 for me personally. I'm probably going to wait for it to dip down just a little bit further. But, I mean, that's a strong chart right there if you look at that.
Yeah, I was just looking at that. It looks like, it was high up for a while back in February. It went through a consolidation period from the end of February, and then it kind of dipped down in March. But it's come back. So I don't see anything, scary about this chart at all. I like the fact that it's a low market cap, and if it's a strong project, which I do need to, research more offline. But if it's a strong project, it probably has room to grow, it being such a small market cap, and it has a smaller supply for a meme token, only 1.8 billion. That's not a large supply. So the volume stands out. The transaction fees are, super small. And then also on the B&B side, you don't have those high gas fees. So something definitely I'm taking a look at.
Yeah, another thing I need to look into more further is, how they go about their burn mechanism. Because if it's anything significant based on that particular circulating supply of only having 1.8 billion, man, if you had a decent burn mechanism, right, Larry,
Yep.
that could be pretty huge moving forward, especially for those who may, want to get into this possibly long term instead of just, day trading this.
Right. Do you want to try looking at Filecoin real quick?
Sure. Let's take a look at that. Why not?
So we've got Filecoin. So I've heard of Filecoin, don't really know anything about it. Is this one that you're invested in, or what you're thinking about investing in?
This is what I'm thinking about in relation to Filecoin for everybody that's currently watching. Actually, let's just double check to see if there's any new comments. Oz says just Oz is his nickname. Okay, we'll just call you Oz, no problem.
Okay, yeah, it wasn't the Wizard of Oz, just Oz. Okay, not Ozzy Osbourne.
Right. So nonetheless, yeah, I mean, for me personally, I'm into I don't know if you heard of BTT, BitTorrent's, coin or token that they have going on. I've been into that since roughly last summer. There hasn't been any like significant, price action in regards to BTT, but where it's related is because of the whole thing of, the concept of file storage and the incentives behind it. BTT is currently the second largest file storage platform or protocol out there. Filecoin ranks number one as far as that goes, and it's just a kind of like a way different platform as far as the quality of it. It's just a lot, not necessarily faster and so on, but they have like a unique, I guess you could say, a model or a unique way of, what they call like how these packets are sent from the user to the server and so on and so forth. But what's going to state is what always stood out for me is not these technicalities. It's just from a retail investor's point of view, and that is on the chart. For instance, like on CMC and so on. My friend and I, my local friend, like he's basically like one of my best friends. My friend Mike. We were looking at Filecoin for like a few months now, and when it like dipped all the way down to 16, we said to ourselves, man, wow, Filecoin is at like 16, and like recently, within like a few weeks ago, when the market was, remember when we had that decent run up like a few weeks ago, and it seemed like the market was back on and it was becoming bullish again. Well, Filecoin, if you look at this chart, Larry, if you go back to like, let's say for the last like the month or whatever, you will have seen. Let's see if there was green. So yeah, look up there for instance. All right, so like at the beginning of the month, it shot to about 25, 26 for instance, and then if you do on a 3-month, all right. So if you go on to, let's say, where's in the middle where the red is, for instance. Let's see. So go down to the bottom of that. I think this is where we saw it. Yeah, this is where we were talking about. Like it was about 16 and a half and so on. And we said to ourselves, man, we're probably not going to see Filecoin this low again, at least for a while, unless there's like a major crash. And then basically we called it. It went from 16 to like 25 within just a couple short weeks. And then, of course, it's at where it's at right now. So for me personally, this is one in which it's like I might get like at least a decent, not a huge position, because I mean, it is way more expensive as far as the coin goes compared to like obviously like meme token projects and so on. But the point is, that's a pretty significant gain. Like we're talking about ApeCoin, going from, what was it, 15 and it went up to like 26, 27, and people made like, for instance, $3. Some people sold too soon, so on and so forth. Again, this is just another one I want to mention as far as like significant price action within a short amount of time. So
yeah, this one's been around a long time, like back in 2017, December 2017, and it had a long run.
Oh man, I just saw where you have $3 right there. Those guys are just wow.
Yeah, all-time high last March. So a little more than a year ago, 2021 was like up over $125. That's
I would not bat an eye to this particular project. I mean, yeah, per coin, obviously it's a lot more. What's the ranking on it? I think aren't they in the top 50? 34.
See that
yeah, they are.
On CoinMarketCap.
You're looking at right there. So right below their logo.
Yeah. Oh yeah, number 34.
So they're currently ranked 34. So I mean, when the market turns back on, for instance, you could see significant things happen. I mean, can you click on that all-time highs again, where it says the low and on the high?
Well, it'll give you.
Well, it's not all-time highs. Yeah, it's for the 1 year.
Yeah.
So you saw 2021. Was it March of 2021?
Yeah, I saw it right over here. Oh, look at that, $149, March of 2021.
Yeah, but it was even higher than that if you get that thing to move a little bit. I know it's kind of hard.
Yeah, wow, 179.
Yeah, I think it was like 190 or something at some point.
Yeah,
so that's crazy.
I wonder. It would be something if this could ever go back to all-time highs, right? Or get close to it. If it gets around, 80, 100, 150, 170, that'd be something.
Well, you know what?
Like this.
It's not like you can't do that. If you, for instance, if you go to their actual Twitter, I'm not just trying to point out that they have a community, that they do. But the cool thing is this: from what I saw when I scrolled through this, for instance, they land these contracts, right? So, for instance, here's the way you got to look at it, right? So it's like, what was it? You look at like Google, for instance, they got the Google Drive and so on. So, for instance, like these guys with Filecoin, if they land any type of contract, for instance, with anybody that's doing like a metaverse play, I know I covered this recently. Oh, thanks so much, Oz. We do appreciate your super sticker, my friend.
Yeah, thank you, Oz. We'll get to Oz's question in a minute, but go on, Max.
Well, I'll just try to make this as short as I can on this point. So, for instance, with like, for instance, Luna 1, they got this thing going on in which it's internalized, in which they have their file storage set up, in which because at the end of the day, people have to have a certain amount of storage, like, for data, like for the custom NFTs, how their avatar looks and so on. That takes a certain amount of hard drive space and so on. So for instance, with Luna 1, that's all internalized. The point is this, right? There's going to be projects that are going to third party it out. And the ones that are going to third party it out, they might decide to do a deal with, for instance, Filecoin, because they have like one of the fastest, file storage protocols out there. And that point is crucial that I'm trying to make here, is because you get enough of those quote unquote smart contracts, that creates more volume. That creates what? More demand. I wouldn't be surprised if you did see this thing go up to all-time highs again. Not financial advice, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, it's the same goes. You follow the money, right? You follow the contracts. It just makes sense, right? It's not rocket science.
Yeah, I mean, it's at 3.4 billion right now. So, if it doubles, like around 7 billion. I mean,
Right.
you'll just have to, I'll have to take a look at this one, because this one definitely, has real utility. So that's a big plus. I just have to look more into it and see what made it drop down from those all-time highs, basically last year. What's making it come down, and what's going to make it come back up? So, like you said, the contracts and things that they're working on. Let's take a look at Oz says, take your time, no rush for my question. So right here, his question was, Max, did you catch the Shiba AMA and your thoughts on the whole conversation? Did you catch that AMA, Max?
So unfortunately, no, I have not caught the AMA. I was going to plan to watch that one, particularly, recorded and so on. I know there's a lot going up, into the whole Shiba Con event that's coming up in Vegas. I know there's quite a few top influencers who are currently covering and so on. But yeah, I wouldn't want to try to BS you, Oz. You wouldn't deserve that, and that's not my style. But I do plan on watching the recorded one, and I'll definitely give you my thoughts on that later on when I see it.
Was that on Twitter, Max, the AMA, or Oz? Do you know where the AMA was for Shiba? Was it on Twitter? Can you hear me, Oz? Or can you hear me, Max?
Yeah, I can hear you. I don't know if. Oh,
well, we could check it out another time. But let me ask you. Okay, he says, let's talk about Shiba in general. Maybe that'll help Oz. We'll get some clarity. So Shiba Inu, obviously, you and I are both invested in. Where do you think it's going to go long term, or in the next couple of months? Is he going to let me? Yeah, here we go. So let's take a look at Shiba Inu right now. So right now, Shiba's been kind of going sideways, right? Let's see like what's been going on in the last month here. So it's been consolidating a lot. I'm
always more than glad to share my thoughts when it comes to Shiba Inu.
Yeah, we've got catalysts going on.
Of Shiba Inu.
Yeah, we've got a lot of catalysts going on with Shibverse. They're talking about when's their AAA video game coming out? Have you heard anything more about that, or what do you want to say about Shiba in general?
So to answer your previous question in regards to the AAA game and so on, it was originally discussed that that was supposed to be coming out in August. Now you got to keep in mind, you can't have the attitude that, hey, I heard this particular top influencer and this person say, it's supposed to be coming out in August, and then to just think, oh, that means that's going to be a fine polished game. In reality, it's going to probably be delayed. If it does come out at that time, it's not going to be a full release, right? It's probably going to be, you got to have like pre-alpha, alpha. It could be a beta. We don't know these things yet in regards to it being it's going to start in closed beta and so on. But nonetheless, as you may or may not know, it's built on Unreal Engine 5. That seems to be the standard right now for a lot of metaverse platforms. Or crypto / metaverse / I guess you could say AAA games that are connected with crypto at the moment. There's nothing wrong with that. Unreal Engine 5 is really, really neat. I personally actually have a license to make a game on that platform.
Oh,
Uh,
cool.
yeah, I have to, of course, give about 5% royalties to Epic Games, and I have no problem with that. The way I look at it is, they built the engine; they're the ones who are providing me that. Game engines could cost quite a bit, and especially if you did licensing. But that's beside the point. Um, like Oz mentioned, she says, yes, it sounds like they're still testing it, and you want to see that. At the end of the day, people are going to be more prone to do what? Bash is something that's not fully functional, or has been released too soon. Perfect example of what I'm talking about, if you're into gaming, is the Cyberpunk game. Was it Cyberpunk 2077? The dev team who made that game were literally pleading with the big wigs, if you will. I don't know if it was the publisher or not, stating this game is not ready to be released yet. There's too many bugs, and then they had a lot of pressure to just release it anyway. And as a result, it's just the community just, were really, really upset about it because of all the bugs. You don't want to see something like that with Shiba Inu. And from what I've seen with Shib, I don't really see that really happening. Could it happen? Yeah. I mean, let's face it. There's some people that are currently upset with how things have been handled as far as, the whole thing with, using a certain amount of ETH and not, right, actual tokens or part of the
Right.
Shiba Inu ecosystem
Hmm.
to pay for certain things like with the land and
Or
so
the
on and so
land,
forth.
yeah.
But after I looked more into it, to me that actually made sense because you know it made more of I don't know. I'm not going to get into the whole nitty gritty of it, but when I walked away from it, I said to myself, "Huh, I have a different perspective on this now. That does kind of make sense." But again, at the end of the day, we can agree to disagree in regards to that. Now, to also mention in regards to the Shiba Inu game, it's not just that one game. You got to keep in mind that is for the AAA, uh, you know, I guess you could say standalone game in itself. As far as what they got going on in the metaverse, um, you know, I don't know necessarily if they're just going to straight up incorporate that right to their own metaverse and so on. And those are things, of course, that I might have to just see in that AMA myself. Maybe they have finally addressed that. But I do know offhand there was going to be at least two games. And of course, the main one that stood out was the one that was supposed to be released in August. And of course, you had that former VP that was part of the Activision team, um, part of that, which is really, really cool. Some people are upset because you have to probably most likely migrate your Shiba to a different coin that they are creating.
I haven't heard that one where they're going to make a new coin. I did hear the thing about having to purchase the metaverse land with ETH, and then also a lot of people are upset. Obviously not using Shiba Inu, and it looks like that Bone and Leash are going to be more utilized in the ecosystem than maybe Shiba itself. So I think that's people getting upset. I haven't heard of them making a new token. Have you? I know also they have their Shibarium that they're working on, their own blockchain, but I haven't heard of Shiba Inu creating their own token or new coin. Have you heard that, Max?
Now I haven't heard them creating one more separate token or anything like that. I mean, to my understanding, and I think Larry is aware of it as well, and that is, metaverse related. It was going to be later on. Bone was supposed to be kind of like the concept of how ETH currently is. That will cover the gas fees that's going to happen inside for certain transactions, whether it's for NFTs or whatever, but metaverse related, or maybe even their standalone AAA game that may not be connected to the metaverse. Again, don't quote me on that, but they have stated that that was going to be the version of ETH, if you will.
Right.
Bone was going to be treated like that, kind of like what Larry and I were discussing with Leash. Leash is kind of like how we look at Bitcoin, for instance. It's um, and again with Leash, I mean, you have to have a certain amount of leash, not necessarily like a full, a full leash. Like I own two leash, but I believe it's like maybe 0.700 of the leash will help you get a bid for some of the plots of land and so on. But again, that's part of the utility of it. And for all these people who are out there who are still not I guess you could say, who haven't educated themselves on the project of, Shiba Inu, I always laugh. I should say laugh, but I just kind of shake my head when they say that Shiba Inu, oh, why would you want to get into that? That's just a meme token with no utility.
Yeah.
If you can't see the utility behind Shiba Inu with everything I got going on with the ecosystem, I mean, Leash alone, that's a utility token because you're using it to buy plots of land inside the metaverse, right? And then bonus on it's just, I don't know, kind of irks me when I hear stuff like that. But
Yeah, I don't
yeah,
think that $11 billion, almost $12 billion, would be invested into something that had zero utility. I know that Dogecoin, is the exception to the rule because they don't really have, we both like Doge. It doesn't really have any utility at all. But you think about Shiba Inu is really stronger compared to Doge, where it has, from the standpoint that it actually has real utility. I would like to see Doge have some kind of utility in the future, as maybe, like I keep saying, as payments. I think with Elon Musk taking over Twitter, it could definitely start to pump again. As far as Shiba Inu goes, I think with the games, they've got the Shiboshis, they got Shibburst, they've got the Shibarium coming out. I mean, there's some big time catalysts coming out. Blockchain, metaverse, AAA video games. I mean, those are big catalysts that we're just waiting on. And I think that Shiba Inu is going to be just fine for the long term.
I think it is too. And you got to look at it from this perspective. May 2021, it was the first big pump, all time highs. Heck, you even had the Bezos brothers obviously make a fortune off of that because they got into it like from the beginning. What was it, 2020, summer 2020, and then the next all-time highs, the biggest of them all, right, which really put Shiba Inu on the map as being a household name. The last October. Of course, we haven't seen that yet for this year. But again, it's just like I don't think it's just going to be Shiba Inus, but it's going to be other ones. And for like what Larry was saying earlier, it's just trading sideways. That's actually a good thing. Some people say, well, that's bad. No, that tells me that this thing is still healthy. Yeah, looking at it from like where I saw it from, like all-time highs at 0.40 is 88, right? And compared to where it's now, 40 is 21. For people who are near, they say to themselves, oh man, I just lost a bunch of my position. As the saying goes, when in doubt, zoom out. And it's really, really true because at the same time, you've got to look at last May 2021. And again, from that period to October of 2021, that was the whole thing. You had slight sell-offs, right? But for the most part, it was just trading sideways, a lot of consolidation. In my humble opinion, Shiba Inu is going to be that pressure cooker that's going to happen again because you're still getting a lot of people that are getting into it. And that daily volume consistently happening, and especially with all this other utility that they're consistently bringing to it with their ecosystem, the games, metaverse, especially the whole thing with Shibarium. When that drops, it'd be really cool. I'll state this: would be super cool is, of course, if the overall crypto market is back to the green. We go on this bull cycle again, and then right at that time, let's say, like, hypothetically speaking, I mean, this would be like a perfect storm. I know we're dreaming here, but nice to dream sometimes. The thing of this, the perfect storm. The overall crypto market goes back to for the most part, green. Then on top of that, you get an announcement from like Vitalik Buterin or something like that, in which at the end of the year, Ethereum Layer 2 is out, and then boom, Shiba Inu's what? Like, their whole metaverse might be ready for launch, or Shibarium at the same time, right? As the Layer 2 for Ethereum is, it's kind of like Larry, like one of those races, right?
Yep.
Like the horse, like a trifecta, right?
Yeah.
Crypto trifecta. So it'd be really interesting to see what's going on. I'm super excited.
A lot of the charts for the good projects, like I consider Shiba Inu to be a very strong project, they look the same. There was this huge run up at the end of September all the way, through October. And we just need something like that to happen again. And that's going to pull up the projects that are solid again. They're going to get back to close to all-time highs, in my opinion. So many projects are. So I have no worries at all about Shiba Inu. In fact, I think this is good because it's an opportunity to accumulate more for a lot of people. And welcome to everyone that just joined us. We've been talking about a variety of different crypto projects. We've been, responding to the comment section, and we have Oz here that asked us to talk about Shiba Inu. And so we're excited to talk about pretty much anything that you want. Guys, drop in the comment section, and we will jump over and talk about questions that you have about your favorite crypto projects or something that you want some insight on. We'd be happy to talk about pretty much anything. We've been covering the Phantom launch. This is something that I got into on the pre-sale, and the chart is looking decent. We're down a little bit, but we're back up to a $9 million market cap, started around 10. We talked about some other projects like Teddy Doge, something that Max is considering getting into, and I'm going to take a look at as well. We talked about Filecoin, and we talked about Helium. That just kind of was like off the cuff for Max, and I was interested to hear about that. What else do you think you want to talk about? We talked a little bit about ApeCoin in the beginning. We talked about, I loaded up a little bit more on Phantom, the Phantom with the F, the one that has the blockchain. So we talked about the Phantom AMA that we did here on this channel the other day. We've got 6 people in here, Max. So if you want to keep going, we can. Oh, Oz wants to talk about Saitama. We forgot about talking about Saitama. Okay. So let's talk about Saitama. Let's see what's going on. We'll pull it up here first on CoinMarketCap. So Max and I both hold Saitama. And, Saitama is another one of those interesting ones that, I still have faith in. Let's go to the all-time chart. And you can see here, this was the famous Vegas event. We've got 10 people in here now. And so Mark wants to talk about Little Ghost NFT. We'll talk about that next. But, as far as Saitama goes, they've got SataMask. The issue to me is not a tech one, but more of an issue of liquidity. So once they get that straightened out and they start to add more liquidity, I think that SataMask or SataMask Pro will be fine. To me, I believe that Saitama, in my opinion, really needs to go to a version 2, because the big issue that we hear from the development team is that they don't have a marketing wallet. They were forced to sell off tokens, which, I don't blame them for. They have to, be able to pay for things. So I would like to see them go to a version 2, and I would like to think that they would do something with their NFT marketplace and their NFTs that they're working on. They try to follow what in the footsteps of what ApeCoin has done. Max, let me ask you this one question about Saitama, and then we'll move on to some other stuff.
Sure.
What do you think Saitama needs to do to start to pump again? Maybe not necessarily get to all-time highs right away, but what do they need to do to recover? What's the big thing that you think they need to do?
Well, again, I think it's like creating that excitement. I know I always mention that. I know there's other influencers that mention that. But, if you think about when did you get into Saitama? Was it like a few months before the big Vegas event, or?
Yeah, I got into Saitama partially back in August.
Oh, wow.
Last
Okay.
year. Yeah, so I wish I would have gotten in sooner. So
Right.
I was lucky to get in there, and it was something where I got emotionally attached to Saitama because I grew my channel, Crypto Talk Now, with Saitama, did so many videos, and I held on mainly because I heard that they were rumored to be on a top 10 level exchange, maybe even a top 5 tier exchange. And also I was excited about SataMask. And then, I regret not taking profits because it's not something that I normally do. Normally I would take profits on a project. With Saitama, I felt emotionally invested into it. I know they say don't get emotions involved, but
Right.
I was, along for the ride with so many people that watch my channel and other channels. And I just felt obligated to hold. So I held on through the roller coaster, ride. And then, I remember got a bit discouraged in January when the launch didn't go well again with SataMask. So I just really held on, and I probably, hindsight's always 2020, but if I would have known that they weren't going to launch in Vegas with SataMask and they weren't going to be on a top 10 exchange, I would have definitely taken profits and looked to buy back in for sure. And that,
Right.
that's just a personal investing mistake that I made. But yeah, so I was happy to get in. I wish I would have gotten in whenever they started, like in June or July. I thought that they had started in June. This chart is not going back far enough, but yeah, they started like in June. The original guy talking about it was Holistic Crypto, and I didn't know about that because I didn't even know who Holistic Crypto was until I interviewed Hanak on my channel. He told me about Holistic Crypto back in November. So, but yeah, when did you get in, Max? Do you remember?
I think I got originally in either August or September.
Yeah.
I think I have a couple different bags, if you will. So I think actually one of them was September before the Vegas event, obviously,
Right.
and then like a lot of people, post Vegas event and so on, in which I'm like way down on that. But you know what? I know for a lot of us, I'm gonna speak to a lot of you guys looking at the camera and so on. You gotta look at it this way, right? If you look at Saitama as being a short-term play, right, you're going to be, like most people, incredibly disappointed. If you look at Saitama as far as the vision and what they got going on as far as the long-term play, I don't think you're going to be disappointed. And what I mean by that is this. For instance, yeah, the dev team, wrestling them and so on, some people feel as though, man, there's this thing that's wrong with SataMask, and then there's this thing and that thing and so on. But if you look at the long-term vision of what they got going on, they are absolutely trying to disrupt a space that needs to be disrupted when it comes to how a lot of these things are handled. Their vision for what they got going on with SataMask and how they're trying to handle that, a lot of people say, well, it's a lot of wait and see. Well, okay, what's wrong with it? At the end of the day, when it comes to not just Saitama, but most crypto in general, there's a famous quote actually a long time ago from, I believe it's from Warren Buffett. I know stock related and so on, but his attitude was, if you're not invested into a project like 10 years, then you're not really truly like invested to a sense. Now, granted, a lot of us don't want to wait 10 years for anything. But at the same time, as far as Saitama goes, that's how I'm looking at it. I'm looking at SataMask. I'm looking at it from the perspective of the small guy, right? The small fish in a big pond, if you will. And that is, for instance, SataMask in general is very appealing for the small market cap tokens that need to be onboarded. And it can be very intimidating, let's face it, to get any type of clout and build any type of community when you have a stacked deck against you. To be able to have a huge catalyst like Saitama and SataMask to allow those type of projects to be onboarded and have a say and get notice and exposure. Again, I realize that SataMask is not perfect yet, but it will be. It will get to the point where, man, all these kinks are done and so on. And that's just one thing. And it's just, there's that. You got a few things going on with the games. The thing with the NFTs. I mean, they're always constantly coming up with not just ideas that have worked, right? But if you look at the core team and what's mentioned in AMAs and so on, one thing that always stands out to me about with Saitama is they're constantly innovative, and you want that. I mean, you look at the biggest projects out there. Look at Facebook, for instance, the rebranding of their team to Meta. They realize they don't want to be stuck in what? They don't want to be stuck in Web 2. They don't want to be stuck in the old platform of social media. Like, for instance, like MySpace back in the day. MySpace, they missed the boat. And as a result, Facebook came in and they said Karate Kid, right, Larry? Did a sweep to the leg, literally, and just took over. those are big projects that decide to be innovative. The way I look at it, Saitama is doing just that. There's people who are going to see that long-term vision, and of course, there's always going to be the people who are going to flood it. Currently speaking, you see that even on the big projects, especially with Meta. There's people flooding Meta as we speak, aka Facebook, saying, you know what, they're going to lose on this whole thing, this multi-trillion-dollar play of then getting into the metaverse. No, they're not. There's going to be the biggest exchange, I guess you could say, of wealth that's going to happen into the metaverse. And I said this before on Larry's show, Crypto Talk Now, and that is this: the thing that's going to be the biggest catalyst to help drive the supply and demand and get the overall crypto market cap growing back to that 3 trillion plus that we saw last November, December, right? I'm sorry, October through December, where it was past 3 trillion, and get it way past that, is in fact the metaverse, because literally there's going to be trillions of dollars going to be exchanged. There's your volume, and that's going to, of course, help the whole thing grow. So, yeah, I know it's kind of like a long explanation the way I look at it, but for me personally, for those getting into Saitama, that I'll put it this way. Gosh, I'm getting way ahead of myself. The main people who fuzz Saitama are the short-term players. Let's be realistic about it. The day traders. Those are the main people fudding Saitama. The people that are hodling, those are the ones that really realize what they got going on. I mean, granted, a lot of us are down like 90%, but it's not just Saitama. I'm looking at my portfolio right now, and there is many different projects where it shows that I'm like down 90%. Does that mean that, oh, wow, man, I don't know jack diddly squat? I'm not saying I'm like an expert. I'm not saying I'm an expert on anything, but at the end of the day, like I told Larry, last year in crypto, I did make about 120K in crypto. My main 3 ones, Shiba Inu, I turned 8,000 into 88K. Dogecoin, $300 became 22K. And then Kronos, crypto.com coin, $1,700, turned that into a little over 10,000 because I got into that at 17 cents a coin. And when roughly about September and whatnot, I cashed out, but not all of it, right? You always got to have a little bit left over, in my opinion. So,
well, I will say this. I will say this about the dev team. I will be critical of the dev team with this one point, is that Saitama, as far as the development team goes, I would like to see them not announce things ahead of time before it's a sure thing, so to speak. Now, I know there's always going to be bugs with things like SataMask or whatever, but I just think that one of the things that really hurt this project was the over-promising and under-delivering. As far as Saitama's future, I think that it has a real strong chance to be sort of a launch pad. More of SataMask's appeal to me would be launching tokens that are unique to SataMask, exclusives. So SataMask exclusives, what they were trying to do originally with Lily, and it didn't work out, and then Sata Realty, if they come along with some different tokens and they give these low cap meme and community-based tokens an opportunity to launch, because the reality is they're not going to compete with Binance, and they're not going to compete with crypto.com or Coinbase or something like that. And they don't need to be. Their niche can be community-based projects, new ones, sort of like what Shibnobi is also trying to do with Doja Swap. And we just saw, there's bugs with that because Shibnobi just got hacked with their Doja Swap. And we talked about it in the beginning with Medi Token, and we talked about it with Shift Token. So these projects need to stay, so to speak, they need to stay in their wheelhouse, and their wheelhouse is community-based projects. They just need to improve upon SataMask. Version 2, I'll just kind of recap what I said before, is a big thing for revenue. In my opinion, developing a marketing wallet or a dev wallet, 4 or 5%. Also, the NFTs can bring in some revenue, which they can then turn around and use as liquidity for SataMask, because they've got a good thing going with SataMask. I think that they slowed it down because they just don't have the money to put in for liquidity. So that's what I think about long term. I think we can move on from Saitama. Let's be kind to our audience here and talk about something. If he's still with us, we'll talk about something that we're not familiar with, and that's Mark Morgan has talked about a comment here. Little Ghost NFT. Don't know anything about that. I'm sure you don't either, Max. It says has 2-in-1 NFTs, Pixel and 3D, which are cross-chain. 7 chains already. Well, maybe you do know about it. Moreover, a play to earn is coming. And check how solid the chart looks. Okay. Have you heard of this one,
Oh,
Max?
okay. No, I mean I'm fairly familiar with Pixel mainly because of what you mentioned and so on, Larry. But so he mentions Little Ghost NFT has a cross chain 7 chains already. That is pretty impressive, Mark. And then on top of it, he says, moreover, a play to earn MMO RPG is coming. MMOs are huge. Even if it wasn't play to earn, I mean, you think about it. MMO, massive multiplayer online RPG. I mean, MMOs, if you look at World of Warcraft, right, it's like one server can have like 30,000, 50,000 people in one server. So if they have that, implement the, the play to earn with it, even if for people who are not just wanting to play the game, right, not necessarily or aware of the play to earn aspect, it's just so much more exposure, if you will. And I imagine this is free to play. This is free to play, right, Mark? That's their plan to make it free to play?
Yeah, and I don't even know if I have the right project up or not. Do you think that this is the right one, Max? I'm not sure because the volume doesn't look very good right now. It's only 7,000. Market cap is low, 4.8 million, and I don't see the regular market cap. That's a fully diluted. Is this if this viewer is still with us, Mark? Can you drop down in just tell us in the comment section if this is the right project that we're supposed to be looking at? Because maybe what I'll do is I'll try to go to Twitter. Let's push the Twitter button and let's try to see if we can find it on there because I haven't heard of this one. And if it has everything that he's saying it has, I definitely want to see. Let's see, Little Ghost. Nope. Fat fingering everything here. Oh, maybe this is it here. Okay, so this has got 13,000 followers. This must be the right one. So maybe I do have it. So Little Ghost, it's multi-chain, it says right here. So we'll have to look into it. So maybe I do have the right website. Okay, so I think I've got the right one up here. Let's take a look at it. So, okay, so powered by Unity, Binance Smart Chain, Chainlink, join our community. So here it is right here, Max. So what is your initial impression of their website and stuff like that? NFT Bridge.
Well, not bad on the website. So I mean, it kind of reminds me of like like the early days of like 8-bit Nintendo and so on. I'm not bashing that. I mean, there's some great 8-bit projects. Like I still play Hotline Miami. I mean, don't get me started on that game. I absolutely love Hotline.
It reminds me just on the surface, just the gut reaction I have to it is the ghost from Pac-Man. Kind of look like the ghost from Pac-Man all dressed up.
Yeah, a little bit more detailed, obviously, compared to the 8-bit. What are these? Was it the NFT marketplace for this?
Yeah, this is right on their website, their little marketplace right here. Let's see if I can pull it up on Dex Tools and Token Sniffer. Maybe we can try doing that. So on Dex Tools, and you can keep talking while I'm pulling all this stuff up, Max. Whatever you want to talk about while I'm trying to find this stuff.
Oh, sure, no problem. So what I was going to ask, hopefully he's still around, Mark Morgan. I don't know if I'm saying that right, Mark. I imagine this is free to play. I mean, in regards to that, have you had a chance to, like, is it currently like an alpha or is there a beta for it? And if so, what's the user base look like as far as this goes?
I'm going to just punch in the contract right here so we can try to find it.
Oh, you know what? It's strictly NFT. So it's going to be like the card game stuff. But okay, I get it now. So, at the end of the day, it's not going to be like, in a future MMORPG is coming. Okay, I get what you're saying. Well, you know what? That could be huge when they do launch the MMORPG because it's just going to be a lot more interactive for a lot of people. Man, I don't know about that.
Yeah, I'll be right back, Max.
Sharp.
Yeah. Be right back real quick.
Okay. All right, everybody. So for me, and also, Larry, for instance, we were covering a few projects. Okay, Larry's actually back at the moment. So, okay, zooming out, that chart looks a little bit better, but that one that Larry had beforehand um, didn't look too great.
Yeah, it doesn't look too bad. Yeah, I think I had it on the 3-minute chart. I put it
Okay,
back
I was
to
going to
4.
say,
Yeah, I put it back to
yeah.
4 hours right now. So
I thought you had on a different chart, like, daily or 7 days. I was like, man, that's a bad looking chart. So,
yeah. So it doesn't have a lot of holders, 754. The volume is low right now. This could just be a case of people not knowing about it. Market cap's about 3.8 million. Okay, so we've got, looks okay. Nice chart, haha. Is this? I'm guessing, no marketing done yet and low volume,
well,
but
let
a
me
lot of
ask
things
Mark
coming.
this then. Mark, if you don't mind me asking this, what was the thing that stood out for you? I mean, are you personally invested into Ecto?
And also, not only if you're personally invested, you say a lot of things are coming. Type in the chat and let us know what those things are, so we can get a little more familiar with this. It's nice that they have all the socials up here and everything connected with links. And also, if you or somebody else wanted to come on our show, we welcome people from different communities or devs if they want to pop in for 5 minutes and talk about stuff. We're more than happy to have them on one of our live streams. Real quick, we'll just tell our audience that we do our live streams at 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturday and Sunday. And Monday through Friday, we do our live streams at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If anybody wants to join us, we talk about a lot of different projects and whatever the audience wants to talk about as well. He's saying that you are invested and that the devs keep delivering, is what these two comments say. So, we'll definitely take a look at this offline. And, the thing I like about these things, Max, is we're getting exposed to more and more cryptos and NFT projects and things that we have never even heard of that are low cap. So hopefully one of these live streams, you and I will discover something that, will really run for us and be something that our audience can discover as well.
Yeah, absolutely. He says, I mean, first of all, the NFTs are cross-chain, can be bridged to 7 different chains. More to come. Moreover, they are 2-in-1 pixel and 3D. Okay, very cool.
And so their play to earn is coming as well. Is what
Yeah,
he
to
said here.
that MMORPG. So it's not, from what I understood from what he mentioned, it's not going to just be, of course, the NFT platform for that. It's going to be the MMORPG. So kind of like, like what we covered before a few days ago, Larry, like you saw Bazoge, that's MMORPG, and that's also play to earn, and so on.
Cool.
So,
well, you're definitely the gamer between the two of us. So this is something that we probably need to talk about offline and see if this is something that we might want to get into, because, it's hard to do it when we're on live, but I'm glad and I'm appreciative to Mark for bringing this to our attention. For sure. And it says here, there's a switch so you can see both versions. Okay. Well, cool. Here's some of the, I think this might've been some part of the pictures of the game. Let's see here. Nope. That's something. Little Ghost. You'd be quite surprised. Little Ghost is building something unique. Okay. So I guess this is some of the screenshots possibly from the game.
hold on a second. Not necessarily. Let's see. Just wait for this play to earn game to be released. Okay. Maybe it is. Wow, that looks pretty impressive if that's what it is.
Yeah.
It kind
It does.
of reminds me World of Warcraft a little bit, like some of the blocks and stuff, but
Yeah. So the graphics
Cool.
are good. I mean, we'll just have to look into this to see. I'm guessing they must have a Telegram and stuff like that. If you could have the devs reach out to us so we could talk to them more, or somebody from the Telegram community could message us or send us a message on Twitter. Our links for our Twitter accounts, also for Max's YouTube channel. Max has his own YouTube channel, Maximus Crypto, all one word, and the links are in the description of this video. So you guys, if you want to communicate with us offline, hit us up on Twitter. Our Twitter accounts are in there. So yeah, I'm just going through their Twitter here. So here's some more pictures of their game. So if you're still with us, Mark, tell us when they're expected to have these games come out. It says all good. Make sure to listen to those Twitter Spaces AMA with the dev. He's young, but his tech know-how is impressive. Do you know when their play to earn game is supposed to be ready? At least an alpha or a beta version. Max, while we're on the subject of gaming, I'm not a gaming expert. Talk to me the difference between an alpha and a beta version, just for somebody that, I understand the test versions, but what's the difference between an alpha and beta?
Oh man. All right. All right. It's kind of like me comparing Bud with Bud Light. Give me a second. All right.
Okay.
So it's kind of like, Bud, Bud Light, Bud,
Okay.
Bud Light, Alpha and Beta. So with Alpha, it's like, you got anyway, Alpha basically it's like it is literally, oh man, you got like your basic, the basic essentials, if you will, and you got not really a lot. Like for instance, if this happened to be like a first-person shooter, you got maybe like, like your AK-47, your Desert Eagle pistol, and then maybe like a couple sniper rifles or something like that. Where on the other hand, a beta is more like some of those bugs have been really worked out with, the basic amount of things that were released. I'm just throwing an example out here. I realize this is a MMORPG, but yeah, I mean, Alpha is just literally like, man, we just whipped something together and now we're testing it. On the other hand, the beta is like the more in-depth tested version of that alpha, and then people are still testing and working out the bugs. And then from there, it could be like what they call an open beta, or sorry, a closed beta is usually how it goes. So like there's a select amount of people who get invited to the closed beta to do testing. And then the dev team takes that data of how things went and so on. And then from there, they say, okay, you know what? Now let's open this up to the public, but it's going to be a public beta. We're going to do more and more testing. And then after there's an open beta, they collect more and more data to see like, what kind of bugs need to be worked out, the feedback from the community, et cetera, et cetera. And then from there, they make an announcement of like, okay, you know what? We're comfortable from the feedback we got from the open beta. We addressed the issues and concerns of bugs, et cetera, et cetera. And here is what we're going to do with an actual public release. Now, when there's public releases, there's still going to be, of course, a certain amount of, things that need to be worked out. But that's the gist of it.
So none of this is financial advice. We were just brought this project to take a look at by Mark here, and it's called Little Ghosts NFT. Also, if you guys are just joining us, drop in the comment section if there's a different project you'd like us to talk about. We've talked about so many things today, Max and Mark, that are listening. We've talked about Phantom. We covered the Phantom launch here. We've covered, we talked a little bit about ApeCoin. We talked about Teddy Doge. We talked about Saitama. Talked about Helium, Shibnobi. Talked about a whole bunch of things.
And then we showed you guys, we showed you guys the difference between Bud and Bud Light, just in case you didn't know. So, anyway.
So I guess Mark is saying they're coming out with a new website here. So that's typical of most projects. They'll start with one website and they'll look to improve as time goes on. So I guess Max here, we're coming up on almost an hour and 50 minutes. We got 3 people left here with us.
It's okay.
Do you want to start to wrap things up here since we're on Saturday?
Yeah, we can do that if you want.
Unless there's something else that you want to talk about, I'm open to it either way. Whatever. I want to be respectful of your time, but if you want to keep going, we can. It's up to you.
Well, it's up to you. I could go a little bit longer if you want.
Okay. So we've got somebody else I think that might have joined us. If you guys want us to talk about any particular crypto project, like I mentioned, just drop it in the comment section. We've stumbled on a whole bunch of different projects. We started out talking about, like I said, Phantom, Teddy Doge. We wound up talking about Shiba Inu even, which we haven't talked about much. Helium, we've talked about. We went over to crypto bubbles, looked at what's going on in the market. Ape is starting to pump up again a bit. Ape coin has just been on fire lately here. Talked about how I bought some more Phantom, the one that starts with an F, the blockchain.
Right, the original Phantom, right.
The original Phantom. We talked about how I got into the Phantom pre-sale, and I'm just watching and seeing what's going on. Talked about the AMA that we did here on the channel. So we've talked about a lot of things. Looks like we've got more people joining us. So we're open to talking about anything else. We talked about this new one here that Mark brought us, Little Ghost NFTs. Looked at their marketplace. We looked at their chart. It looks like another low cap that we'll take a look at. But what do you think overall, while we have people in here just joining us, what do you think that the bull run is going to start again? Nobody has a crystal ball, but have you given thought to that, Max? Do you think, people are saying, oh, it was going to be in April. Now we're coming down to the end of April. Some people are saying May. Some people are saying September. What's your gut feeling on that? Or what are you hearing out from other influencers and different articles that you've been reading on crypto?
Well, for me personally, I just go back to, like, for instance, if we're basing it off of 2021, again, I realize a lot of things that exist now, like the Russian-Ukraine war and more crypto regulation and so on. These are topics that have been happening from the beginning of this year to present and still ongoing. Those are the two big factors that, of course, is going to cause the market to be very, volatile. So it's hard to say as far as that goes. Now, based on, I guess you could say, the history of how it was compared to last year and so on, typically speaking, May should be pretty darn significant. And then also, that run up to fall, anywhere from between September and I would say, September to November, those 3 months, September, October, November. Me personally, I think the best is yet to come, and it's going to happen around that time. December is not exactly the greatest, typically speaking, but you just, again, we don't have a crystal ball. It's hard to say, but I hope to see those bull runs come up soon because we need it to. I mean, we all.
Let me ask you this. I wanted to ask you, and I forgot the other day to ask you about Engine Coin. That's something that I bounced in and out of. Oh, I think I lost my screen here for a second. But Engine Coin, is that something that you're invested in? I know it's sort of like a platform to build games on, is my understanding. Is that something you've looked at or invested in?
That one was one I was on the fence of. I've had it on my watch list for the longest time and so on. A while back, I had to make a decision because I just spent too much on crypto at the time. Yeah. But it was between Engine, Decentraland, and Sandbox, and it was like at the beginning of January of this year, and I decided to go with Sandbox. That's just me personally, but there's nothing wrong with Engine. I do believe that it's been significantly down. Some people feel as though these are definitely like buying opportunities in regards to Engine compared to where it was a few months ago or at the end of last year.
That's the reason why I asked you, because it's been down so much.
Yeah.
I had a position. I have a little small bag left of it because I made some money with it. I'm thinking about getting back into it possibly, just because I like to buy things that are down, that are strong projects. So I'm going to take a close look at it. Sandbox is one that I'm in. That's a good one. And of course, Decentraland, I'm in that one as well. Just because they seem to be the two big metaverse players.
Right.
And welcome to anybody that just joined us. It looks like we've got some more people that have joined us again. People have been bouncing in and out of here all day. In the last couple hours here, we've been going. If you want us to talk about anything specific, we've talked about a whole bunch of cryptos today. We're bouncing around. We're happy that you're with us. Thank you for spending some of your Saturday with us. Drop in the comment section about something you'd want us to talk about, and we will. We've talked a lot about different ones: Saitama, Shiba Inu, Helium, the whole 9 yards. You can go back and watch the recorded version. We talked about the two Phantoms, the pre-sale that ended, and the launch that happened today for Phantom Project. We've talked about Phantom, the blockchain, and how I bought in more of that. We talked about ApeCoin going crazy.
I was gonna mention, any chance I see Vet right there? I mean, I know it's in the red. Are you familiar with Vet by any chance, Larry?
Yeah, I had Vet and sold that off. I might have a teeny tiny amount of dust left. I sold off, I don't know, when it was maybe about 5 cents or something a few months
Right.
ago. I can't remember, but I kind of was disappointed with Vet. I've heard such great things about it, and I might have just kind of like broke even or took a little bit of a loss because I wanted to move money into
Right.
something else. But I've heard it had some great potential.
It does, and I think With that said, I mean, there's a lot of like a false perspective on how fast that's going to move and so on. To me, that is one of those ones in which you can't look at it from like a day trading perspective. Um, I am not personally into that. Oh, right on. Volt Army member. Same here. Diamond Holdings. Shout out to the Volt Army.
Yeah, we are big supporters of Volt. I wish I would have gotten in sooner. I just found out today looking at Holistic Crypto, and I didn't realize that he was one of the original ones that talked about Volt. So I need to start paying more attention to Holistic Crypto. And of course, Bleaves was somebody that I like to follow too. He was talking about it early, but I get involved in so many different projects, and I just got into Volt late. And I'm looking forward to pull back at some point so I can take a larger position, because I think what they have going on with Volt, has been really good. It's been a pleasant surprise for many, and I like the fact that they're investing in other projects. They're investing in NFTs. They're investing in other tokens. I think what I have is I have it on the BNB side. What do you have? The Ethereum based side or the BNB side, Max?
I have the Ethereum side. At the time, I think that was the only way I was able to get it. So I got it a while back. I wish I could have gone the BNB side because it would have been a lot cheaper on those gas fees. But
the market cap right now, well, at least I have the BNB up, is $180 million. So it's been doing very, very well. Like we talked about the other day, that I think Volt Inu, and then we talked about Robo Inu. Those seem to be the two newish Inus that are doing well. Those two projects there. Volt obviously is ahead of Robo Inu from a market cap standpoint, but they both seem to be solid projects. So let's see. He's on the east side. Okay. And at some point we'd love to have people come on and talk about different projects. Anybody is welcome, whether you're a viewer, a subscriber, non-subscriber. If you're part of a community like Volt or any of these other projects, you're welcome to have the devs reach out to us, or somebody from the community to come on for 5 minutes and talk about your project. That's always welcome on our show.
It's funny how you mentioned that he's like East Side here. It sounds like somehow like a hip hop song or something. He's like
yeah.
Hit the east side of the BTC on a mission to find Mr. Larry and Max DOWG or something. I don't know. Still something out there.
Turned into a little bit of a rap there. Yep. Yeah. I'm coming instead of from the east side, I'm coming from the east side.
Yeah,
Yep. Well, cool.
Well, the ETH side of the BTC, as in Bitcoin, right? Anyway.
Right. So there's a lot of things on sale. That's why I'm kind of looking at this chart again, or the crypto bubbles.
Yeah, there's Kava, man. That one really stands out. We just covered that the other day.
Was it yesterday? I think last night.
Yeah, yesterday. Yep.
Yep. That one's on sale. This one I'm really, boy, now it's all the way down to 69 cents. I was thinking I was a hero buying it at 80 cents just, last night. And now I'm like, wow, I could have waited a little longer and got even a better sale. How about Solana? What are your thoughts on Solana? That's something that recently has been going down. It had a lot of hype last year. It's a solid project, no doubt, and they've got their NFTs on their platform. Are you like bullish long term on Solana, or do you think that it's had run its course?
I don't know if I'm bullish or not on it. I mean, they obviously proven themselves for last year. You imagine that they would rebound at some point. There's a decent amount of projects, but my thing that's kind of stood out for me was it's just a decent amount. There isn't like overwhelming amount of projects compared to, like, for instance, Ethereum. I get it; it's a lot faster and so on. That was the whole thing. I think even CoinMarketCap had that whole video where they show those guys with the race car helmets, and one guy he's representing Solana, and the other guy is representing Ethereum, and I think it's more of it's still mass adoption. I know it sounds like a crazy thing to say, but at the same time, again, the whole thing was supply and demand. So, for instance, I mean, if they can land more contracts, and then those contracts, or smart contracts, I should say, do more and bring in more volume, we may still see, all-time highs or whatever, or see this thing rebound. But I don't know, I'm kind of reserved on my thoughts in regards to Solana. I'm not personally invested into it because it's one of those things in which I wouldn't even say would be long term. It's a pretty expensive coin, right?
Yep, that's
and
what I'm
yeah, I mean, I guess you could say it's kind of like for the people who have already made quite a bit in crypto. Sorry about that. And
Oh, it looks like Max's connection got rugged again, but I'm sure he'll be back. And I apologize. We're thinking about switching to something other than StreamYard to do our streams. And we'll probably just talk about one more if Max comes back with us or not. We'll see. ApeCoin looks to be the star of the last 24 hours. So we'll have to see what's going on. There's Cardano. Cardano just continues to fall, and you wonder at some point where I might scoop up another bag of Cardano just because it's so far down. I don't really know, but this might be something that I might think about doing. But this Phantom, I was happy I got into. I wish that I would have gotten into it today. I did buy a bag again last night because it was down around 80 cents. And now it looks like we're down at around 69 cents. So we'll see if Max can come back and join us. I guess he's having a connection issue. Thank you to everyone that has joined us in the last few minutes. If there's something that you want us to talk about before we sign off, drop it in the comment section, and we will more than likely talk about that crypto project. We must have talked about 15 or more different projects today. If you are interested in our show, we're doing it every Saturday and Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, but we also have a Monday through Friday live stream, and that is 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We thank you so much for being with us here on your Saturday afternoon. Just taking a look at Phantom Project. I was covering a little bit of the launch. This is something I'm invested in the pre-sale. I am bullish on the team and the long-term prospects of it. I did do a sponsored AMA yesterday. If you guys want to go back and watch that AMA, these guys seem to be nice guys. They've come out and admitted that they don't have a ton of experience, a couple of years experience investing in crypto. They've surrounded themselves with a good team. They've contracted a company to develop their social networking platform. So you guys can go back and watch what Matt has to say, and Riz. Matt is the CEO and Riz is the COO of the project. So you can go back and take a look at that. We talked a little bit about Teddy Doge, which I'm not invested in. We talked about Filecoin, I'm not into, but thinking about it. We, of course, talked about Shiba Inu, which I'm into that and big on Shiba Inu. We talked a little bit about Helium. Helium was an interesting one where you can earn income from hotspots. You need to get their hardware. So I'm going to take a close look at that offline. What else did we talk about? We looked up some things on Token Sniffer, including Teddy Doge. Came out really good on Token Sniffer. We talked about Little Ghosts, which I don't really know much about at all, but we talked about it because a viewer, Mark, wanted to talk about it. So I thank you, Mark, for that. So we've talked about a bunch of other things, and we've had a great show, and we're very happy that you guys joined us. I'm not sure if what exactly happened to Max's connection. It looks like it got rugged. Oh, looks like Max is coming back in. So Max, you're back in. So I was thinking I might have to go to see if I could bring Mike Tyson or somebody else on, but I'm glad that you're back. I think we should try to wrap things up. We've gone 2 hours. I was just curious to see what type of reception we would get when the hour flipped over here. We've this has been a great live stream. I've enjoyed my time chatting with you again. I'm gonna let you have pretty much the last word. Looks like we've got somebody else joining us here, but why don't we try to wrap this up? Because we've been going a long time and get a little tongue tied. So
you're gonna bring Mike Tyson in on there, huh?
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, I gotta see who might be available because your connection got rugged, and I think it has something to do with StreamYard. So,
well, if you're gonna bring Mike Tyson, then you'd be like, I just want to tell you, Larry, from what I see right now, the whole crypto market is down, kind of like when I knocked Lennox Lewis down on the ground, or freaking Trevor Burbick in the second round. The whole market's bleeding, like how I make all of my enemies bleed. I don't know, something like that. So,
well, I guess we had a little bit of Mike Tyson. It still says Maximus Crypto, but it sure as heck sounded like Mike Tyson. So I thank you for that.
No problem. Well, yeah, hopefully it'll be a different day tomorrow and so on. The weekend's kind of crazy. But, usually not much happens on the weekend other than, I guess, bleeding. But, it's just a volatile time as we speak.
It is. And I think we're all just waiting for that bull run to happen. But, I just want to thank our viewers. This has been a great live stream. We're going to get more and more people. We also are thinking about bringing on other guests to talk with us, possibly from different communities, crypto communities. So this is going to be a fun time. Like I said, I'll let you say goodbye to everybody, and then we'll wrap it up.
Sounds good. All right, everybody. Well, just like to thank you guys again for, joining us on Crypto Talk Now with Max and Larry. I'm Maximus. Obviously, he's Larry. We do like to cover various crypto projects, not just anything and everything, but ones that, definitely stand out to us as far as a few factors like, price action. Is there a good community behind it? Things like, basic things, like is the team doxed? And especially if they're like a newer token with a small market cap, we definitely will check out things like, token sniffer, because at the end of the day, we realize, just like you guys, this is our hard-earned money. We don't want to get involved in things that could be sketchy or iffy by any means. At the same time, we're not going to state that, at some point, is it possible that, crazy things could happen? Yeah, absolutely. It's crypto in general. It's very volatile. Things can happen. But then nonetheless, we do try our very best to vet a lot of these projects and so on. Of course, there's the ones that are, already listed on centralized exchanges or really big and well established and so on, like maybe they're on crypto.com and so on. But nonetheless, we do appreciate you guys, of course, joining our live stream that we have daily. This is the first day that we actually did this at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, my time, for the weekends. We're probably going to try to do this again, for instance, tomorrow. As far as Friday, which would have been yesterday, we're not set on the exact time on that, but I would say for the most part, at least from Monday through Thursday, we're shooting for 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific. We're trying to do this, as a daily show. And wrapping it up, I was going to state, sometimes you're going to see us do goofy stuff like myself. A little background on myself. I used to be on a local improv team in the Phoenix area, and I have been in a few like low budget gigs as far as on TV and a movie that actually didn't get on board. But nonetheless, we try to make things fun. So just the typical, Bueller moment or anything like that. Like, I'll promise you this much. I don't think Larry and I are going to come on screen and tell you guys and look at a graph and you're like, okay, so as you can see here, the market is up 5% compared to yesterday. I mean, who wants to watch that? So,
yeah, we don't want to be like that. Yeah. We'll try to make it interesting. So We want to thank you guys again for joining us. We will see you tomorrow, Sunday, 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Tune in, tell other people that you know. Let's make this a good regular show so that we can get the word out about crypto. Thanks again, guys, for joining us. We're going to sign off right now. Be safe out there, guys, and have a great day.
See you guys. Take it easy.